It's Friday. It's April 28th, 2023. So I went to the SLT meeting this morning, um, which is the student leader training at the local school, um, as a parent, as a mother. That's how I signed in. While I was there, Um, there were others in the room. Um, I don't know how this community is built, how it runs. I'm really unclear. I know personally what my health paradigm shift, what my exposure has been to a degree. Um, and so I've been just making document of it and putting it on my own personal YouTube and Facebook. Not really sure um, how that works. Those platforms work. Technology not being of my specialty necessarily at like a computer level. I don't even really use email at this point. So I brought this bag, which I received from a New York City event, and I brought with me the hat that I run in to show them the chemical change. I said, this is the only article of clothing I can bring. It's not the only one that's changed colors, but it is the one that I can bring in order to show what goes on, what I'm experiencing personally. I said, you're all, the people in the building. I'm like, while some of you are in this particular building all day long with the children, I'm out. I have a lot of outdoor exposure time. I said, and I went through, I said, where it's began for me was I started losing my natural balance, and like I was having severe, like, it felt like muscle loss, or like muscle fatigue, which frightened me. So then I decided to go out and do like aerobics or calisthenics, and just to try to get some of my balance back and some of my muscle like strength back. I was like, so again, and with no money to go to the gym, I was like, I went to the outdoors. I said, so I have a lot of outdoor exposure time. I said, from there, with seeing this chemical reaction and change that's coming off of my body, it led me again. I went through my resume of studies of theories that I've studied, because the education system runs off of theories, theoreticals, that are approved by whatever education system. So and then I said I also spent one medical, surgical, clinical in a hospital setting. Um, I was like, so that's my background. I was like, for my own reporting, um, or documentation of what I'm experiencing. Um, I was like, from there, then I said, I'm not versed in the climate change conversation. I was like, I just recently, they've had a whole special on it, which I watched. I brought that into my own personal conversation. Um, I said, because with, and then I even went through it. I said, I can't be certain if it is a New York specific, because you have long haul truckers, that have multi axle vehicles that go long distance. So I don't know where they're fueling up. I was like, I then came upon a marina towing vehicle that had some noxious smell coming off that tailpipe. I made document of that. So I didn't realize there was marina fuel, that I don't know how that is different by chemical combination than, say, a multi-axle vehicle's necessity to run that type of vehicle. And then there's the regular automobile that we're all used to. So I'm like, I'm not quite sure what fuel type or depot like it came from. But I mean, again, running across like near Cross Island was one section. So I tried to then I've tried Croshawn, I've tried Oakland Lake, just because one's more of like it has at least a little more greenery or natural setting. But this is the very real chemical exchange from whatever's going on, and I don't know where the like again I didn't say the vector, but for my own personal, I don't know where the vector of, I don't know if it's, and it could be multi-vector, like for respiration, and like, is it an aerosol? I mean, and then I said to her, I said to them, I said, on the climate change piece, which I don't have like theoretical matriculated studies of, but they're alerting. I mean, again, everything's dissected in, into some form of theory, and so they say it's carbon dioxide, but then there's this machine that where they're extrapolating carbon dioxide, and on the machine it has the symbol for nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. I was like, because in my studies, I learned that the air that we breathe is made up of like a combination of, even though we say our air is oxygen, when you study at some point in theory, a different level of theory, you find out that it's actually a mixture of gases. um, I was like, so again, these are my findings. This is what's going on for me biologically. I was like, I don't know, again, like some of the people in the room are in the school with the children during the day. So I'm like, I've have a lot more exposure to the outdoor air. And then the PTA person, mother, or the PTA president said to me, she's like, did you try going to like the gym? Maybe it would, it wouldn't be so severe of a reaction. I said, it's possible. I was like, I just don't have money in order to pay for a gym membership right now. I was like, I've gone to a gym before, and I did not have, when I was there, I did not have perspiration that smelled like industrial grade ammonia. I was like, so now that's what in this setting, that's what it's become. Um, this like harshness of being confined here. I was like, but um, again, I don't know what else to do. So, and I don't know who else to report to other than like in the safety of the local school at an SLT student led training. I mean, tell the principal, the PTA president, and I don't know who the other people were in the room, but it seemed like a significant. This is what I mean, again, between extrapolating and interpolating my own data points of realism. Um, I said I've gone to the local hospitals. I mean, when they take the blood, you ask for toxicology to do a blood gas. I was like, there's no feedback from the professionals as to what is going on in a biological exchange. I was like, so I know it's significant. I just don't know where or how to report it, so that this way, like, I mean, because we all live here, we all have children here, and this is something I'm experiencing and going through. So I said I've been documenting it on my YouTube just for to follow my own health journey at this point. I was like, and I don't know where else to report it. I'm at a loss. So I felt this morning, I was like, thank you. I was like, I'll just start in this room where it's just a small group. Um, I also found out from the principal, she was invited to something one of the local council people were having. I was not invited to the same, I don't even know. Again, I wrote a thank you note because the local council person had awarded our elementary school a grant for which my son participated in. So I wanted to thank the council person in this area. It's Vicky Palladino. So I wrote her I hand wrote a thank you note, and I did get a phone call back. I documented that as well, so that way. But I don't know how to actively participate. I brought that up at the SLT meeting as well. One, I assume he's a father or a parent, a father. I don't really know, of one of the students. Our children are going to be in the Moana play this evening. Um, he mentioned I have to call the office and give them my email. I'm like, but I don't use technology. I don't use email. I was like, will they send me a mailing at least? Something that I can use? Um, so, um, so I don't know. So I'll try reaching out to the Palladino office, and ask to, I guess, be put on the local list. I mean, I don't know how that works. And I don't know what is allowable, what's not allowable. I'm not sure at this point. It's I don't have any clear communications. Um, and that's just where I'm at the moment. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. But I did go like this with my hat, with the clock, because again, and then I was thinking too this morning, I'm like, right, time is in a linear fashion. That's on paper. If I draw 2 points on paper, I can show two birth dates. I can show linear time. But then there's the arc of time, which is, why do we have time on a circle? And I'm like, that is more, if I use it as a sundial, a calendar sundial, and astrological features. I have 4 children. 3 of the features are irrational clocks. They don't work the same in when you put it onto a circle clock of time, which is how the locals use. Now everybody seems to be using, there's a lot of people that are using digital clocks. I noticed some are still with their gears, of original time makers and clocks, um, looking very much like this on their wrist. But that's the difference between a circular clock system. I mean, again, it's gears. I know I've written the theory of time as it pertains to me and my children and Alexander. I've gone to the place of Intrepid, which is where the fearless are. I've gone to the Book of Life. I've read from the Book of Life. I I'm doing the best I can as a human and as a mother, and knowing who I am and why I'm significant in one of the 4 pieces of time that I created and brought to this world, has not only linear fashion time, but has circular time down to an exact coordinate for future as an anchor, in the distance. And then I have the 3 anchors, and then I have 3 positions of time, which are less rational. They're more irrational in the sense that the distance is, I mean, again, that's how you warp space and time. It, like, again, goes in a higher level theory that I don't have a matriculated study on. I could write the course on it at this point, because I have the incarnate and I have the spatial relation, but whatever on that, I wouldn't know how to find to write the curriculum in whatever needs to study that level of science. I'm not quite sure. Um, it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, but 1361.